Reality recap.
Hi, Evelyn. Yes, I know you have the reunion. Yes, we have 2 more episodes. And then we have the reunion of
I look like the slut. I look like a mom. She was like, you the one that look like you got a high body count hair. I fell the fuck out, y'all.
Candace, has Deborah reached out to you to apologize after the episode aired showing Chris did not flirt with her?
She wouldn't dare. She would get eaten for breakfast.
Oh boy.
No, she's doubling down.
Why would you go meet with Ray J without talking to Princess or letting her know? Why? Like, she's trying to justify that she told her after the fact and not supposed to make it.
What do you think of your ex-husband Jim coming out and saying you did not try to stop him from suing Shannon and Tamara?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, if his memory is a little foggy about what transpired back then, that's okay. However, he did admit that I had nothing to do with the...
Reality recap. Reality recap.
Hey, happy hump day. It is your girl V with Reality Recap here for another Tea Talk sesh. Please make sure that you like and share this video. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get all the recaps, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram so you don't miss any of the reality news, honey, because I always give you the exclusives and the piping hot tea. Today's Tea Talk session, we are talking about last night's episode of Love Hiphop ATL. Was it that intriguing to me? But I did watch. I do have unsolicited thoughts. When you're watching this video, make sure that you comment your thoughts on the episode, my commentary, and if you agree, disagree, all opinions are welcome. I'm no hater, and neither should you be. All right. So let's get into it. Let me pull up my trusty notes. So we start out with Spice's opening a store. And I said to myself, for what? Sweatsuits? You opening a whole store for... what is the name of her brand? Or something like that. But she is opening a store for sweatsuits, honey. Rasheeda stops by as well as Yandy. And Yandy comes in hot because she's mad about what took place at Jessica White's magazine party, where it was said or alleged that Jessica White's niece had some dealings with Mendices, or he was trying to holler at her, slid in her DMs, etc. And Yandy thought that Rasheeda was there as well as Spice, and that they engaged in this or knew about this, and none of them called her. So Rasheeda said, like, I wasn't even there. Spice said, I was there but didn't know because I didn't want to engage with Jessica because she had Jasmine around. And I want no parts of that because, I'm a ride or die friend. And that started what I would say some tension in the friendship. There's already been tension in the friendship with Rasheeda and Yandy, because Yandy felt like Rasheeda didn't speak up or say anything to Jasmine or have any say in what happened last season at the Cyphers of the A concert, where Jasmine and her friend confronted Mendices about him, messing with one of their friends who doesn't want to come forward, and they have no receipts. Yet this is what they are alleging. So Yandy also tells them more about what happened with the DM situation with Jessica White, that she was the one that was DMing Jessica's niece, and Rasheeda didn't believe it at all. And I'm saying, you don't believe that story, but you believe any story Kirk gave you. So you believe that Kirk deleted half of the conversation with Jasmine out of his text messages because he tried to clear his bad energy out his phone. Yet you can't believe that Yandy was DMing from Mandisi's account. Like, maybe she just doesn't want to face they're in the same boat. I don't know. But she got a little shady in her confession. It didn't seem like she believed it. And Jess said it too. Jess was saying that Yandy was lying, and she really got kind of dark. I don't know. Jessica has a really kooky side to her, but she was saying, like, he's a liar. I can smell the stink off his soul. I was like, okay, girl, cool. You making any music yet? Anything that solidifies why you're here on Love and Hip Hop? Okay, but cool. She can smell the stink off of souls. Got it. Now, Kurt and Rasheeda had a little sad incident. Someone broke into their restaurant, Frost Bistro, and they took a safe. They had it on camera, y'all. They went upstairs, which seemingly to me looked like they went directly upstairs to the safe. They pushed it down some stairs, drug it across their floor out of the restaurant. Where was the police? By the time that they grabbed a whole safe and pushed it downstairs and drug it across the floor, like, did an alarm not go off? They had security cameras everywhere. I'm sure alarm went off. Where are the police? I don't know. They must be like here in Jersey. They take years to come. So I felt like it was an inside job. I really did, because there's no way that someone knew exactly where your safe was. It looked like it was about 3 to 5 guys in the video, but there's no way that they knew exactly where to go, and pretty much seemingly had a plan of how they were going to get the safe out of there. I don't even know. We don't even know what was in the safe. They didn't say. Probably for safety precautions, they didn't say, because they don't want anybody to come to take the safe again. It probably wasn't nothing but change for the register. I doubt they would keep a large sum of money in there. I mean, most business owners would drop it off at a bank, but they took a whole safe out, and on top of that, caused a lot of damage, pushing it downstairs and dragging it across the floor. So they were it seemed like they were kind of frustrated by that, or rethinking opening other restaurants or getting real estate in the area because of what was going on. But this is what I was telling y'all on my recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta when Brittany was flashing that 10-carat ring. Girl, you on TV now, you might want to chill, sis, because they be robbing out in Atlanta, okay? They done hit Ciara house, they done hit Spice's house. They done hit Kurt and Rashida house twice now. The restaurant, like, might want to chill, Brit. This is what I was talking about. But we also had a conversation. Well, not I say we like I'm there all the time, but Rashida and Kurt had a conversation about Yandy coming at her, thinking she was at Jessica's event. And Rashida spoke about how she's now rethinking her friendships with the group and who is really her friend, because Jasmine is pretty much kind of penetrating the group at this point. She got Jessica, she's hanging out with her, she's hanging out with Saucy Santana, she's hanging out with Rennie, she's hanging out. We saw her in the studio last night. We'll get to that, but she was with, Bambi was around her. So she's kind of, people are letting bygones be bygones, or they're really like, who am I to judge this girl for 7 plus 8 plus years at this point? It's a long time ago and they've moved on from it. So it seems like her scarlet letter, some people still think she wears it, but not everyone. But Jessica lost a sister last night. We saw that as well. She visited Bambi and told her that her sister passed away. Condolences to her. And it was a sad situation. But Bambi, I think Bambi's an excellent friend, guys. I ain't even gonna hold you. She always seems very supportive of her friends, even with Erica, the way that she was there when Safari was acting a pure fool in these streets and she was pregnant and she went into labor early. Bambi was watching her older daughter, Majesty. She was really there for Erica. They're still really close friends. But I just think she's a great friend, and it showed last night in her support to Jessica. So kudos to Bambi. We all need friends like her. Surprise, y'all. Jasmine drives. I kept asking y'all, because in every episode, every season, we always see her pull up in an Uber black truck. And I kept asking y'all, she don't drive? The money that Kurt gave her for her car that was in his Cash App transactions, where is this car? But she drives, y'all. She had her Tesla, which, by the way, I see her dude, what's his name? Rod. I see him repoing it from her in the next episode. So stay tuned for that, child. It seemed like he got mad at her and took it back. But yeah, she does drive. She got her Tesla. She dropped Cannon off at Kirk. Well, I was gonna say at Kirk establishment, but it was at Prest, Rashida's establishment. She dropped him off, and then she finds out through conversation with Kirk that Kurt and Rod had a sit down. She was upset about it. She didn't know about it. She was saying like, "Oh, y'all talk mad shit about each other. Now y'all are hanging out with each other. This makes absolutely no sense." She was mad and feeling like, what's going on here. I personally felt like she was like, "Damn, I'm caught up in my lies if I only get $1,000 a month," which, by the way, is a pretty good amount of money for child support. I know girls that's only getting $75. So 1,000 is pretty good when you're supposed to be working and adding to that. I know it can be expensive. I got 2 children and both of them in private school. That alone would eat that $1,000 up and then some. So I just felt like in that moment though, she was like, damn, I just told him I don't get nothing from him. He don't do nothing. And now he done sat down and had a conversation. Now I got to figure out what they said to each other. So that seems like to be to me what she was more mad about. But in this episode we saw that Spice put together a content house. And I was saying that's a great idea. A content house where either people can rent out and do content. Every room had a theme. That seems like a pretty dope investment. And her design of the house was dope. It was flawless. I loved it. Every single room looked intriguing for, Instagram worthy pictures. So I definitely thought like, wow, that is a great investment. But she has a content house. And for once she didn't have blue hair, y'all. She looked so good. I really want Spice to stop wearing that blue hair. I don't get the symbolism behind it where she always has blue hair, blue clothes, blue sunglasses, blue nails, blah blah blah, but she looked really nice in normal black curly hair last night. I loved it. But she had everyone over to the content house for them to see it. It was like, a little grand opening, if you would say, dinner for the cast, and they came over. Um and that's where Yandy learns, because Yandy's talking to Amy and Erica, and they're asking her, or Amy asks, like, did you talk to Rasheeda after what happened at the Ciphers of the A with, Jasmine's friend? And Yandy said, no, I didn't talk about it with her because she didn't know about it. And Erica said, well, when she was at my single release party, she mentioned that she heard that there was a tussle or somebody got hit in the eye or something. So she knew something, very much something. And Yandy said, all right, well, let me call her up here and figure it out. So they called Rashida up there, and I'm gonna be honest, it seemed like to me she was caught in her lies. It felt like she was caught in a lie that she did know. There's no way that popular Rashida had no idea what happened after she left that Ciphers of the A event. There's no way that did not get back to her. I don't get it at all. I really don't. But Erica was saying, well, remember when you said that somebody had got punched in the eye or something? And Yandy's asking, so did you know? And she's like, I don't know. Why you asking me, Erica, what I said if you already telling me what I said? Like, kind of answering the question with a question. And she's like, I don't know. Did I say that? You telling me I said that. So why you asked? It was just like, okay, now you really giving that you knew what was going on. Because if you didn't, you just say, why, yeah. Eventually she did say this, but it was kind of too late for me. But she was like, yeah, I heard something happen, but I didn't know with who. And she's like, I'm not no gossipy person. Like, she wouldn't have been like, girl, what happened? I heard this happen. Girl, yes, you do. You gossip. Stop it. You wouldn't be on this show. So it left a bad taste in Yandy's mouth. And again, to me, Rashida seemed guilty because she ended up saying, like, I don't play these type of games. And she's stuttering when she talking to Erica. And she must have knew something, but she left out of the room immediately after that. So that it was just giving guilty vibes. So Yandy follows her downstairs. They have a conversation, just the two of them. And Rashida tries to explain to Yandy and saying that, I'm not a gossipy type of person. Even if I did hear that you, Yandy, hit somebody, I ain't the one to call you and be like, girl, you hit somebody in the face. Yes, you is. If anybody is close with somebody and they friends and they hear something, you gonna call and see if they all right. Not to be that you're nosy, but if I hear my friend is in a fight, I'm gonna call her and see if she's all right and see what happened and see who we gotta go ride on, But she's trying to make like she has nothing to do with any type of gossip. I'm not buying it. But she tries to explain to Yandy that, as well as she's saying that whatever Jasmine and her friend had to say to Mandices and Yandy had nothing to do with her. And I'm saying, yeah, and indirectly it does though, right? Because it's your husband's side baby mama causing this drama for your close friend. that you confide in every season, that y'all ride or die in the Lululand over your husbands together. Now Yandy's out there on her own, and it ain't got nothing to do with you and Kirk. It's given. I'm just glad they ain't talking about me and my husband for once. Side note, Rasheeda, we still are talking about you and how the fact that you a fool. They still out here singing Rasheeda got bags. So that's not really true, but it felt like, yeah, she's just leaving Yandy out on a limb saying, that's on y'all. I ain't got nothing to do with it when it's your husband's side baby mama that's bringing this stuff to the forefront. And she, that's how she said it to Yandy. Like, they had ammo for you. They were looking for you. They wasn't looking for me. She wouldn't be there if it wasn't for your husband. Knock, knock. Hello. But that was her response. And to me, Yandy was delulu as well, because producers are asking her, like, so do you really feel like they weren't coming for Mandices? Because Yandy's trying to make it seem like they only came for Mandices because they couldn't find Kurt or Rasheeda. But if you remember at the Ciphers of the A episode or season finale, was that the last episode of the season? It might have been. But Kurt and Jasmine had a conversation before the show started. They talked about the child support that he allegedly reneged on, and that's why she went back to court asking for more money, and now he's trying to get full custody. But they had a conversation, came to an agreement, and walked off. So if they were looking for Kurt, they had already found him. So again, Rasheeda is Yandy's friend. She should be having her back in this situation, saying, yo, cut that out talking about my friend's husband. But she don't want to talk to Jasmine herself, so there goes that. But Yandy getting very defensive in the confessional, saying, you're not going to sit here and make like they were coming for my husband. That's a war you don't want to start. The war started, sis, when they came up to you and said that their friend is messing with your husband. But she just seemed a little delulu to me in that situation, because they was coming for him too. They definitely are coming for Mandices. It's not just because they can't find Kurt. They came for him. They was gonna come for Mandices regardless. That part I agree with. But Rasheeda gets upset. She tells her, like, look, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I don't know anything about it. That ammo was for you and your husband. And if you don't believe me either, so be it. And I'm out. So she left looking real guilty, like I already said. So in that moment, Bambi pulls Spice aside because she got a bone to pick with Spice. Because if you remember in London, Amy said on the bus to her on the Sprinter, do you know I had a whole different verse for that Ciphers of the A song, but Spice told me you were dissing me, so I wrote a diss song and recorded it, and Bambi said same thing on my end. I had a whole different verse. Then I was told you was dissing me, so I had to write a diss back. So she's asking Spice, like, why does it seem like you're pinning us against each other? Spice is always hot tempered, can't have a conversation without her yelling. She's like, you're trying to paint me out to be the bad guy. That's not the case. She calls Amy over, and Amy completely, literally lies and says, that's not what happened. Spice never told me that. And in her confessional, she says, well, Spice didn't tell me that there was a whole diss. I was doing my diss track that I had already wrote. I was going to take a line out, and Spice encouraged me to keep the line in. That's all I said. But as Bambi said, she was like, you're lying. They're going to roll that clip back on you. And they rolled the clip. And that is not what was said. She literally did say that she had a whole nother verse. And Spice convinced her or told her that a diss was being written. She heard a couple snippets, and that's why she wrote what she wrote. So I don't know if Spice's intentions were to have a diss track and everybody going against each other. But I know one thing for sure, two things for certain. Amy did say that Spice influenced her to write that diss. So I wonder what she has to say after seeing that episode, because she hasn't said anything on her page about it. Let me go right now and see if she addressed it at all. But she really was caught up in her own lies, just like she was trying to call Zayn out. She was trying to call Zayn out on the show. She did try to clean it up later in her confessional, saying, I can't remember everything that I said. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but girl, you didn't recall anything. Your whole story was different. So clip ran back. Nope, she ain't posted nothing about it. She ain't said nothing. So I'll be watching to see what she has to say. I'm looking at her story to make sure. Yeah, she taking her dog to be groomed. She ain't said nothing about it. So I guess she got amnesia today. But Spice is at this point is aggravated. She's saying she's gonna pull the entire album. Go ahead and pull it. It's not an album. It's just one song, girl. It's not an album. She's threatening to pull it. Do what you got to do because nobody's gonna buy it anyway. But she's upset, saying they painting her to be the bad guy. They're always trying to do that to her. She don't even want to do the album. She's gonna pull it. Yandy's trying to convince her that no, you spent money, time on this. Keep going. I say hang it up. Shouldn't have never did it from the beginning. So I would agree. You want to stop the project wholeheartedly. I agree with you. Do what you got to do, Spice. Because no one wants to hear that. Anyway, I would rather have heard a cohesive song about a subject instead of everyone just having random verses of some dissing, some not, all the men not dissing, all the women aren't dissing, Rasheeda on there dissing Jasmine, sneak dissing in her rap. Like, it was all over the place. So I would agree. Pull the project. But yeah, it was an eye episode. We'll see what happens. I'm still watching, but it's like a toss up on which one's going to be better. Is it going to be Love and Hip Hop Miami or Atlanta? Depends on the week. Miami has definitely been winning in my book just for the sheer hilariousness of it. But yeah, it was an all right episode. But those are my thoughts on last night's episode of Love and Hip Hop ATL. Be sure to come back here tomorrow. Set your alerts. I will be dropping a pre recorded episode on my thoughts of last night's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And next week, guys, we are back. Love During Lockup. Love After Lockup will be back on the 21st. I'm still recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta, of course, with that season kicking off on Mondays, as well as Married to Medicine. So we got some shows coming back. Love and Marriage Detroit is on the way. I'll be recapping that as well. So y'all set your alerts. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget, like and share this video. I appreciate y'all. Now, before I get out of here, as I always say, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. It is your girl V with Reality Recap. Y'all have a great hump day. Peace.